Hi, my name is Nick Jarvis and welcome to the Light Minds program. During this video series, I've been talking about the principles behind the program and with the program aim being to help you to lose weight, but do so in a way that removes a lot of the struggle, the pain, the difficulties, the challenges, the obstacles for losing the weight, which is all based around having a mindset a particular way. And not only that, but once you've lost the weight, you're able to maintain what you've achieved. So the whole thing is about changing your mindset, and to do that in most of the videos, I've been referring to these principles. And now what I want to do is look at how we change, how we achieve that change, the results that we want. So let me share my screen, and we'll go into more of the change. So this is all tied into how we bring about change with the principles. So the first thing is that I've talked many times about mind, consciousness, and thought, and the idea that within you is the innate capacity to know where you're going. And if you were to follow your natural instinctive way, it will take you on a journey to where you want to get to. But the journey will be much more enjoyable. It'll be lighter. It won't be burdensome like most people trying to lose weight with all the struggle and difficulties they have. So it's based on the idea that you've got your own GPS, just like you have in a car. You sit in the car. Now you can actually, when you're in the car, you can actually go, oh, okay, I'm going to find my way, use my head. And you go, okay, I'll find my way. Now, imagine how difficult that is without a GPS. And of course, I come from a time before GPSs where we had maps. And that was quite challenging in itself to follow the map. And I can remember being in London, where I was, a lot of the time I was brought up, with my father driving around London, and I had the A to Z and I navigated. So if my dad didn't have the navigator sitting next to him, it would have been quite challenging. And most of us didn't have a navigator sitting next to us then. So it was challenging. We had to find our own. But even with a navigator, it was difficult. And of course, a lot of the time we would choose a route, but that route was blocked for whatever reason. Well, GPSs now, they up-to-date traffic and things like that. This road's closed, etc. Now, just imagine you having your own GPS. The GPS will help you to discover what's the best route for you to follow if you tap into it. Now, it begins, of course, by setting a destination. Where do you want to get to? But again, you'll have a sense inside yourself about what's right for you, as opposed to what you should be like. So many times we're dictated to about the size that we should be or the way we should look. Well, is that really true? If you were to actually remove all of that and just consider intuitively what would be right for you in terms of how you want to live your life, what you want to do, how you want to be, how would you be? Now that means you set outcomes. Outcomes provide you with a direction of travel. There's a focus. Go this way. This is the route. This is the place, the direction you want to go in. That's important. But actually, when it comes to the final destination, they're not that good, really, because you're guessing. You don't know. You're going to go on a journey, and on that journey, you're going to discover new stuff. And as you discover new stuff, you might go, actually, that wasn't the place I wanted to get to. It made sense here, but I want to go in this direction too. So set outcomes because they enable you to point in that direction, and they also enable you to measure progress, but be open to change in that. So outcome setting at the beginning of a journey is great. And at the beginning of the Light Minds program, we talk about outcomes, but also throughout the program, I'll talk about the shortfalls that we have in them. So you've got to be open and flexible to new things come along as you go on your journey. Now, one of the most important things when we mention measuring progress, the most important measurement of your progress is how you're feeling. See, how you're feeling will be telling you whether you're in your head or in your heart, whether you're in your conditioning of how things should be, of how people have told you should be, how you're seeing what they've told you the world should be out there, and you should be within that, or you're coming from your heart. You see, when you're coming from this place of relaxed Sometimes you hear the term relaxed intensity. When you feel you're gliding, you're flowing, you're guiding, being guided there, that's a great place to be. But when you're in here, something's going on. That's when you've moved into your head. You've gone outside in. You're thinking the world out there is actually controlling how I am. Can't never do that. Just that inside itself will change things. And then your mind will settle down. So your feelings are a really important guide on this journey. Now, another important thing is you're always doing what makes sense to you. So here I am showing the Marlboro Man smoking cigarettes. He was a famous guy, back then when smoking was in, when it was cool, as this picture really depicts. But it made sense to the people then. Now, many of the generation that you're in now will go, that's absolutely crazy. That creates cancer. Why would people do that? But back then they didn't know that. So they smoked for whatever reason they chose to smoke. They were doing what made sense to them. Why do I say this? Well, the thing is, when you recognize you're doing what makes sense to you from moment to moment based on your conditioning, which you can't control, then actually you remain in this place of clarity. But when you go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have eaten that. I shouldn't have drunk that. I should have got up and exercised. When you do all of that, what happens? You create this state of unhappiness and it builds on it. So now you're making the situation worse for yourself in terms of how you feel, how uncomfortable you feel. But when you pick up that, you take, you're sitting watching the TV and you go, I'll have an ice cream. Well, I really shouldn't have an ice cream, but I'm going to have an ice cream. No, I'm not going to have the ice cream. Oh, I have the ice cream. And then rather than go, oh, no, I shouldn't have had the ice cream, where you make it worse, you go, oh, I shouldn't have had the ice cream, but I did. What? Crack on. Because feeling like this, how does it help you? It doesn't. Now, some people immediately go, Nick, yeah, but only when I feel like that, I've experienced the pain, do I stop? Really? Is that what happens to most people? No, when they come from a place of clarity and they go, probably wasn't advisable to have the ice cream. But okay, I've had the ice cream. You're now back in a place of clarity. And when you're in a place of clarity, guess what? You make better decisions. You make new decisions. And even more importantly, you have insights. You're open to insights. Do you know, in Japan, they have a word, karoshi, death by overwork. They work 12-hour days. Now, people in the UK, Europe, even America, wherever, who are watching this might be surprised. Some of you think you work long hours, but hey, they've got a word for it. It makes sense to them to work that hard for whatever reason in their culture. They do that. Now, it doesn't make sense to most of us to work that hard. We don't want to be like that. The important thing is you're doing what makes sense to you in that moment through your conditioning. You just are. Accept it. Move on. Then you remain in clarity, and in clarity you have insights, and those insights, as I'll be talking in the videos, lead to you changing, because you change the underlying neurology, the system that's really controlling your behaviors. Remember something, the river is always flowing below the surface. So although this river might be covered in ice, and it's like you being blocked and can't see, underneath the water's flowing, your innate well-being is always there. This powerful energy that's coming through you is always present. You might be resisting it. You might be distracted from understanding and seeing it and sensing it, but it's there. It never goes away. It's alive in every one of us. So as the water melts on the surface, that's what comes. And really, what we're trying to do is help you to see in Light Minds, it's there. It's always there for you. So how do we melt the water? How do we bring about this change so that we can tap into our default state? Our default state is one of well-being. It's one of health. That's an incredible place to be. And so you might want to take a look at the program, www.lightminds.life. And it would be great for you to come onto that, just so to see that there's this amazing opportunity that once you tap into it. By the way, I don't know what's going to happen to you when you do. I don't know what your journey is going to be like because you're unique. All I know is that as people gain an understanding of these principles, things shift for them, which makes significant difference to how they are being and therefore what they're achieving. Hope you found that useful. Thanks very much.